Joining us is U.S. Youth Soccer CEO Skip Gilbert today. Thank you, Skip, for taking the time to be with us.
Oh, my pleasure, Kai. Happy to be here.
Right. In 2021, Florida, we hosted the national championships, and just recently announced the event is coming back to the ESPN Wide World of Sports at the Disney World Resort. How did that come about? They were having two back-to-back, events back in the state of Florida. But the first one must have been successful in Bradenton, Sarasota, for you guys to come back again.
Yeah, Florida's a great destination for us. The fields are strong, the weather is usually pretty good. So, from that standpoint, especially like right now, we have probably 6 or 8 events scheduled in Florida between our National League showcases and then our ODP interregional camps. So, Florida is sort of a hotbed for really all of soccer. But we've been in discussions with the folks at Disney for a while, and going back and forth because, they've got such a great venue. It really kind of elevates the stature of any event for any sport that goes on to that complex. So the ability for us to, be able to take advantage of all of the benefits that they're going to be able to provide, the players, and that's sort of half of the charge. We want to make sure the experience for the players is championship caliber, and Disney certainly does that. But at the same time, we also know that a lot of families, friends are going to come in and are going to want to do things when the kids aren't playing, and again, so, Disney rather excels in that regard for, kind of consumer entertainment. So it was a win-win. And at the last component of it is that we're launching kind of a massive initiative this year, which is called the Champions Cup. And you just think Little League World Series for age group soccer. And we're hoping that it's going to, over the next couple of years, emerge into a global age group tournament so that instead of the marketing departments telling everybody how good their team is, we want to make sure that the best are out on the field to play. And at some point, we'll probably end up at the Disney complex, but we certainly, because of Disney's hold over ESPN, want to work with them to try to be able to use, the ESPN telecast platforms for the Champions Cup. And of course, then they would use, because we'll have our championship teams invited from the Nationals, they'll be able to get some recordings there. So there's a lot of strategy behind, working with Disney.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds very exciting. And Disney, the Wide World of Sports complex is a very fantastic complex. Now, could we expect the championship to be there on an annual basis, or is this something, or are we going to rotate again to other states?
It's interesting. We have those discussions all the time. If you move it every year, you're hitting a different community. It makes it easier for some.
You're back.
There we go. That was odd.
No, that was.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Maybe Disney didn't like what we were saying. But at any rate, going back to the question, if we go every year someplace else, obviously it helps on the travel for parents that, if we're in Florida all the time, those that are coming from Washington, New England, they constantly are traveling. But at the same token, if you look at some marquee events, Little League World Series, the College Baseball World Series, that have a destination complex that's theirs, that adds just a whole different allure to it. And so we're going through that, and we're not quite sure whether we're going to end up in one place, go once a year, every couple of years. It's you can kind of go back and forth until the moon turns blue, but we're going to get there.
Yeah, right. So still, it sounds very exciting. Looking forward to it. And then moving on to there. There were some discussions when I attended the 2021 AGM at the board meeting. There was an update about there was initial discussions, I guess, with Major League Soccer and Don Garber and USYS. And where are those discussions now? And with the announcement of the MLS Next Pro League, does that have any impact on the discussions that took place?
Yeah, to some degree. There was an article yesterday that was in Soccer America about MLS Next and their new MLS Next Pro League. And, you kind of read it. And quite frankly, I was not at all thrilled because it made it sound like, youth soccer didn't exist until Major League Soccer entered the picture. It can be really difficult, as strong as they are as an entity, and we're thrilled that they're doing what they're doing at the professional level. They want to control every aspect of their youth process. And so we had gone in at the very onset to say, look, you focus on field. We have all of this apparatus between our state associations, between what we're doing at the national governing body, and we can support all of your off-field programming, your registration, your risk management, all of the things that they have to staff up for. And we thought we were going down that road. And unfortunately, they've just decided that, they want to do it all themselves. So the impact is, again, as you and your audience well knows, soccer in this country at the youth side is really fractionalized. You have U.S. Youth, U.S. Club, SAY, U.S. SSSA, AYSO. We're an acronym jungle. And so MLS is just going to be another one of those concepts. And, we're still working to try to work with them and try to have some synergies. It's just, again, it's a fluid discussion, and where ultimately it ends up, quite frankly, I think the best bet is that each state association that has a franchise is going to make that connection, and they're going to be able to customize their connectivity to MLS directly through what they're doing on the ground.
Yeah, it's fortunate to hear about this acronym jungle. Obviously, it is a issue that plagues youth soccer, in my opinion, and hopefully we can connect the dots someday and all work together for the good of the game. That leads me into my next question about, now going into ODP, which at one point was a, very important piece of the U.S. soccer landscape. What are the plans for ODP moving forward? To as we, just to kind of compete or stay relevant in the acronym jungle, as you put it, So what are the plans there to keep that program relevant and alive and moving into the future?
Yeah, as you say, ODP is a very important piece of the USYS puzzle. I, for one, was probably one of the first guys. I think I was part of ODP in its first couple of years, and I wouldn't have gotten where I went in my career if it weren't for ODP. As a matter of fact, I ended up down in Tampa with the Rowdies for a season. So, from that standpoint, I have a real soft spot for ODP. But you're right, because of the acronym jungle, because there are so many clubs that have a national footprint and different leagues spreading out, the calendar is just getting incredibly crowded. And so ODP is always going to be there. And instead of it being an Olympic development program where in the past it was your road into the Olympic, qualification process, now it's really about high performance development, and at the Olympic level. We still want to kind of keep that umbrella, but we are coming out next year with something called the High Performance, National Development Plan, and we're working with some of the best coaches and some top, kind of tacticians to be able to design programs that can give kids, to take them to the next level. And it doesn't matter if you're playing for USYS, MLS, ECNL, you're playing within a group. If you pull that individual player out and put them with like individuals, but different, it really starts to challenge their ability to think, because now they're playing with a group they've never played with. And so immediately they have to focus a little bit more as to who's around them, but then also technically and tactfully, how do they compensate for their lack of awareness of what those players are going to do? And so when you put them in that kind of environment, it's just going to strengthen the player's skills overall. And so from that standpoint, we're real excited about where we're going with ODP, and again, to be, that catalyst to not just help them on the field, but also give them some things that can help them off the field. Because again, we want to make sure that, soccer is a great sport to teach kids, really how to perform well once they get out of college and they're out in the business world. I mean, I use it all the time. I was a goalkeeper, and being able to see the field in front of you helps you to be able to really understand from a business perspective where you want to go. And so if we can include all of that in our ODP programming, I think that's going to be the formula that's going to make it a really, important element in any player's kind of plan.
Yeah, understood. I mean, hopefully we can continue to grow the sport through the ODP program, which I think is it's still, in my opinion, still a valuable program in the landscape. As we close out the calendar year here, looking back at 2021, what are some of your, success stories or positive tidbits of the calendar year for USYS, and what are some of the challenges from in 2021 that might even drag into 2022, that as we continue to still find or navigate through the pandemic and all the challenges and we've gone through the last couple of seasons?
Sure. That's a loaded question. I feel like I'm gonna have to open up War and Peace to be able to kind of define everything. But, we look at 2021 and given what the world has gone through and certainly what our country is going through, you almost look at it as a rebuilding year. And so for a good portion of the year, we're looking almost in a mirror to say, let's look at all of the different platforms we have and how can we come out swinging. So instead of just kind of ramping up in 22, we want to make sure that we are offering really exciting programs that each of the state associations can take advantage of, but also, the kids and the parents and the coaches and the referees and that sort of thing. So moving into 2022, I kind of at the top down, we talked a little bit about ODP, that we clearly have kind of been polishing that gem. Our national championships, we're looking at that and the President's Cup. How can we, continue to make those tremendous experiences? We're introducing the Champions Cup. We started last year a program called League America for the base of the pyramid. That's for, we register 2.6 million kids a year, probably 2 of them just out playing for fun. They have no designs that they're going to play in college, not even probably in high school. But what we want to be able to say is, I hate the term rec player because it's usually preceded by the word just. He's just a rec player. She's just a rec player. And quite frankly, if I was just a rec player, why would I want to stay involved? And our vision is to, bring communities together through the power of soccer, making lifelong fans of the game. And so our charge has to be to give kids reasons to stay in the sport right through their teenage years. And that rec program of League America could be one. So next year, and we're hoping we're going to be able to introduce this at the coaches convention in Kansas City next month, is that US Adult is going to take our League America concept and incorporate that into their platform so that now kids, can you imagine a 10-year-old kid going, hey, I play in League America. So does my mom. So does my dad. But what that does is it gives them that vision that, I don't have to be on the travel team to succeed in this sport. I can just play right on up through League America because even the best pros, that have, that are playing for our national team, at some point they have to retire. And when they retire, almost every pro is going to play adult league somewhere along the way, which means they've returned to League America. And so from that standpoint, we now have a constant pathway that hopefully kids, in the back of their mind, it gives them that impetus to say, let's stay in the sport. So when you put all of that together, plus next month, we're going to be announcing that we're introducing a digital magazine to be able to stay connected to all of the constituents. And we're going to pull a lot of the data coming in from the states and, and again, be that compendium, if you will, of great soccer information. So from that standpoint, we're real bullish as to what 2022 is going to do. We're going to end strong on 21. I think a lot of states are seeing more players coming into the folds, and even more pre-pandemic numbers. So, we just want to make that momentum worthwhile, build on it, and help everybody succeed on and off the field of play.
That sounds, I love to hear that with the League America concept. I think, myself, born in Germany and moved here in 1990, I remember in the beginning, it was very much focused on the grassroots, where currently, from the last 5 years or more, I feel like the focus is on the top 2%. And the acronym jungle, and we're trying to, which is just my personal opinion here, is that we're trying to sell pro soccer to every kid that comes through the park a lot of times. And we, as a youth soccer community, sometimes I feel like we forgot what we're really here for, which is to grow the game, to be a part of and serve our community, and to teach life lessons through soccer, to build people, and to foster that love of the game for a lifetime. And the rest will fall into place. The best players will always find a way, but we got to make sure, if the game is healthy, that we make sure the base is there, and we focus on that on the base. And I love to hear that there's that concept, because I feel like we've lost our way a little bit. To just try to focus on the top.
Yeah, and absolutely, and we do. And unfortunately, that's a byproduct of the economic engine of youth sports, yep. Because if you think about it, and I've been in the Olympic movement almost my entire career. And so we were kind of the catalyst of helping our clubs understand that if they schedule, 12 months a year programming, that, it'll keep kids, and their ability to keep kids connected to them will be greater. The problem is, the unintended consequence is that then empowered the clubs to charge more, to get, pay their coaches more. And it just, everything went to the top of the pyramid. And so, yes, we've kind of ignored the base, and we have to be able to come out and, re-energize, the base of the pyramid. And I think we can do it. And I heard it was almost a frightening statistic. I was watching one of our USYS university partners is True Sport, out of the US Anti-Doping Agency. And it's all about character development, and, how you can use all of the benefits of sport to be able to, again, make you a better person off the field of play. And they had a seminar a week ago talking about sort of the mental health aspects of soccer, or not soccer, but of sport. And the statistic was that there are 40 million kids that play youth sports in the United States. In any given year, 25,000 of those kids move on to college, pro, national team. So if you think of the numbers there, yep. And that we're all so focused on trying to get that kid up to that level, it's you're rolling dice, yep. And I cringe every time I read, hey, we're going to help your kid get into college, or we're going to help, sure, you might be able to, but it's really up to the kid. We need to understand that it's the kid's passion, the heart, the skill, the technical and tactical knowledge is going to be able to do it. And I'll end on, I was at a cocktail party a couple of years ago up in Fairfield County, Connecticut. And one of the moms came up to me, knowing my background, and said, "Do you see my son?" And he was like an 8-year-old running in front of me. And she goes, "Do you think he has what it takes to be a pro soccer player?" And I just, I wanted to walk away, but, you can't do that. You're like, well, kids age differently, but, just by running, I can't tell. But that's the mentality that we're in, that, we're telling kids at the age, we're telling parents at the age of 3, get them into this sport now, because that's what's going to make it done. It's just, it doesn't work that way. It's not as easy as that.
So, Well, thank you for your time. Thank you for joining us, and I wish you a happy holiday season and a happy new year. And I'm sure I'll be seeing you at the convention then. And so not too distant future.
Perfect. Well, thanks, Kai. Appreciate it. Wish you a happy holiday as well.
All right. Thank you.